Okay, so once again, good morning, good day, everyone. So our topic for today is about performance management. So based on that performance management process have come to the force or for the fore in recent years as means of providing a more integrated and continuous approach to the management of performance that was provided by previous isolated and often inadequate merit rating of performance appraisal schemes. So, performance management is based on the principle of management by agreeing or contract rather than management by command. So, it emphasizes development and the initiation of self-management learning plans as well as the integration of individual and corporate objectives. So it can in fact play a major role in providing for an integrated and coherent range of human resource management process that are mutually supportive and contributed as a whole to improving organizational effectiveness. So again, performance management is an important human resource management process that provides the basis for improving and developing performance and is part of the reward system in its most general sense. So this module starts by defining performance management and discussing its objective, characteristic, and underpinning theories. It continues with a description of the performance management cycle and its three constituents, no? Performance agreement, management performance, continuously in reviewing and assessing performance. And finally, it deals with managing underperformers, introducing performance management and the role of line manager. So to give us more detail about the topic, let us all welcome Sir Jeffrey. Go ahead, sir.
Okay po, so good morning everyone. Do you hear me po?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay po, thank you. So again, good morning everyone. So my topic is about the performance management, by which I will be discussing the two parts of it. First is about the process of the performance management, and then the second one is about the 360-degree feedback. So first, let us define what is the performance management. So the performance management is the continuous process of identifying, measuring, and developing the performance of individuals and teams and aligning their performance with the organization's goals. So here, performance management is a performance in action process. So in comparing the performance management at saka yung performance appraisals natin, there is a distinction in the contrast between the year-end event, and it is the completion of the appraisal form and the process that starts the year with a performance planning and is integral to the way that people are managed throughout the year. So this is the main goal of the performance management. So there are 6 basic elements of the performance management. So first is about the direction sharing, the goal alignment, the ongoing performance monitoring, the ongoing feedback, the coaching and development support, and the recognition and reward. So let us try first to define each element. So the direction sharing is about naman dun sa communication of the company's goals to all the employees, and then translating these into a doable departments or team and individual goals. While the goal alignment naman is about having the method that enables the managers and employees to see the link between the employees' goals and those of their department and also the company. The third is about the ongoing performance monitoring, by which this means about the system naman to measure the team's and employees' progress towards the meeting of performance goals. While the fourth one is about the ongoing feedback, by which it means that this is about naman the system to ensure the team and also providing the face-to-face and continuous feedback regarding the progress towards the goal of the company. The fifth one naman is about the coaching and developmental support, by which this means about naman the monitoring at saka yung training of each individual. While finally, the recognition and reward, this means about providing the incentives to keep the employees' goals and goal-directed performance on track. So now let us proceed with the manager's role in the performance management. So here, technology useful, though it is mandatory for the managers who want to take a performance management approach. So this is very important in terms of this performance management, the technology. So what is mandatory is having the right philosophy and the on-the-job behaviors. And behaviors include linking employees' goals to the company's goals. So what does it mean? So in the manager's role in the performance management, giving employees continuous feedback, providing the required resources at saka yung coaching, including the rewards of the good performance, and remembering that employees' performance reflect more than just whether they are motivated or not. So now let us proceed with the first part of our performance management, which is the process of the performance management. So let us first define what is this performance management process. So the performance management process is the collaborative communication-based process where employees and management work together to plan, monitor, and review the employees' objectives, long-term goals, job trajectory, and comprehensive contribution to the company. So what does it mean? So this means that this is a continual process with regular sessions where both the management at saka yung employees have the opportunity to give at saka receive their feedback. So now let us proceed with the performance management process steps. And there are various steps that we need to understand regarding this performance management process. So first, let us focus on the planning process, by which it has also some subtopics, which is about the defining stage, the feedback stage, and the approval stage, which are also the processes of this planning. So first, let us define what is this defining stage. So the performance management process begins with the planning stage. The human resource and management need to define the job itself, including a comprehensive description, long and short-term goals, identifying the key objectives, and develop a clear metric for how those objectives and goals will be assessed. So here, the goal should be clear, done with a SMART format. So we know the SMART format means specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, at saka time-based. So here, clear performance standards should be set. So dapat dito hindi lang siya kung ano lang yung maisipan ng ating organization, yun lang yung gagawin, kundi kailangan sineset talaga yung kanilang mga standards. So next we have here the feedback stage, wherein once management has completed the defining stage, employees should have the opportunity to give input on this material. So they are the one doing the job and will have the key insight into what skills, competencies, and goals will be best assist the company to achieve the organizational goals. So what does it mean? So this is an important part of the organization to keep track with their endeavors para makikita natin dito kung ano na ba yung progress ng ating mga ginagawa, kung ano ba yung mga kailangan nating i-align dun sa ating mga nakaset na objectives. So next we have here the approval stage. The management and employees both agree to the definition of the roles, goals, and objectives. By making the first step of the performance management process collaborative, management sets the stage for the process as the whole to be collaborative. Okay, so what does it mean naman? So it is where the employees feel that they are involved in the goal setting, which is an important thing, as evidenced also by the Gallup study. So if you would understand what is this Gallup study, this is about the parang assessment of public opinion by questioning of the statistically representative samples. So tinitingnan natin dito kung ano daw yung parang representative ng mga feedback ng ating mga colleagues. So next we have here the second process, which is about the coaching. So it has the stages, which is the organizing of a timely, regular basis, providing necessary training and coaching and solutions, solicit feedback on both sides, and finally about revisiting the objectives as necessary. So let us first tackle about organizing meeting on a timely, regular basis. So once the parameters of the job and objectives for the future have been set, the next step of the performance management process begins. So what does it mean? So here, the coaching process is extremely important and must be on the regular basis. So meetings should be at least quarterly, although monthly meetings are also ideal. So these are on how can we have this regular or timely meeting for our performance. So next we have here providing necessary training, coaching, and solution. So these meetings should focus on solution and coaching opportunities rather than punitive measures for lackluster performance. So if accountability is made into a negative, then employees will avoid it rather than being honest about where they are struggling. So what does it mean naman? So in some cases here, management training is the area that can be very helpful to the organization, especially kapag daw yung organization natin is in the larger range. So it is very good also to provide this kind of opportunity for them to have the experience regarding the role that they are having in terms of their organization. So next we have here the soliciting of feedback on both sides. So management should be able to give and receive honest feedbacks and work with the employees rather than adopting a combative stance. So the ability to give actionable feedback is important here. So what does it mean? That feedback is very important for individuals' awareness to improve personal growth. So even sa atin mga personal individuals, napaka-importante ng feedback kasi hindi mo din lalaman kung ano talaga yung iyong ability or attitude if there is no one that can share to you the outside or the external observations. So next we have here revisiting objectives as necessary. So as the performance management process continues, management should revisit objectives to see if adjustments should be made, as well as the paying attention to career development opportunities for their employees. So what does it mean naman? So this is a step that involves reviewing the overall performance of the employee, how well the process itself worked, and sometimes it also includes the reward, which is also an extremely important part of the overall process. So reward is an essential part of this performance management for them to be also motivated. So now let us proceed with the third, which is about the reviewing process. So we have here some of the subtopics, which is reviewing the employee performance, reviewing the performance management process, reviewing the overall goal completion, and giving the actionable feedback. So now let us proceed with the reviewing the employee's performance. So at the end of the yearly performance management cycle, there should be an employee review, which is sometimes also called the performance appraisal. Typically, these are held once a year to look at how well the employee performed over that span of time. So there should be a clear record from the previous check-ins to show the employee's progress throughout the year. So the monthly check-ins are to be held wherein the employees' problem solving, adjusting goals, and other future-looking tasks are also observed. So this performance review is the only step to look backward to assess the behavior of the past year. So napaka-importante nitong part ng performance management because we can review what is the performance of the um, employee. Okay. Mr. Banwa, naka-on po yung audio nyo. So now let us proceed with the reviewing the performance management process. So at this stage, it is important for both management and employees to look over the previous year and to see how well the performance management process worked. So here, we can also include some of the questions that we can ask. First, halimbawa, were personal and organizational objectives met? If not, why? So we can also ask, what challenges did the employee face? And we can also ask what training would help the employee perform better? How did the management feedback help? If not, why? We can also ask, how could the process made better? And also, pwede rin tayo magtanong, was the time spent on this process effective? So these are the ideas that we can get in terms of this reviewing of the performance management. So letter C, we are having here also the reviewing of the overall goal completion. So of course, one of the main questions to answer is, did the employee reach their goals? How well did the employee succeed at the task given to them throughout the year? So ano naman yung composition nito? So it is important to look both the smaller and the larger goals, and that can give an indication to the problem areas where the trainings or the interventions can be applied. So next naman is giving actionable feedback. So as the key part of the review is to give and receive feedback. So management should give actionable feedback for the employee so that they know the areas where they can improve future performance. So what does it mean? So the employee should be invited to give the feedback on the process and also on how the management can do better on their end. So there is here the two process, the employee and also the management. How can the management also adapt to what the organization needs, and how also the employee can adapt to what the organizational to the organization's needs. So the last part is about the action process. So this is about the reward and recognition and the setting the stage for the next year's performance management cycle. So first, let us analyze what is this reward and recognition. So the last step of the performance management process is the reward and recognition. So this step is absolutely key. Employees will not stay motivated if they are given no reason to. So this does not necessarily have to be monetary, although it likely will include monetary compensation. So what does it mean here? So other rewards also could be included here, like new projects, company-wide recognition, time off, or even the leadership opportunities. If you can also let your employees be promoted, why not? So next, setting the stage for the next year performance management cycle. So the end of the performance management cycle gives the management and the employees one last chance to offer feedback on the process as a whole and ask for thoughts and feedback for the planning stage for the next year cycle. So here, it is most crucial stage kasi the organization needs to perform the necessary plans for the next year's carrying over of the better plans. So kailangan maset dito kung ano ba yung mga kailangan nating i-improve pa sa ating organization, yung mga kailangan alisin at saka yung mga kailangan nating i-retain. So now let us proceed with the next part of our report, which is about the 360-degree feedback. So 360-degree feedback is a system or the process in which the employees receive confidential, anonymous feedback from the people who work around them. So this is typically includes the employees, managers, peers, and direct reports. So here, a mixture about 8 to 12 people fill out the anonymous online feedback form that asks questions covering the broad range of the workplace competencies that they have. So the feedback form includes questions that are measured on the rating scale and also ask the raters to provide the written comments. So the persons receiving the feedback here also fills out the self-rating survey that includes the same survey questions that the other receive in their forms. So here, managers and leaders within the organization use the 360 feedback survey to get the better understanding of their strengths and weaknesses. So the 360 feedback system automatically tabulates the results and presents them in the format that helps the feedback recipient create and develop a plan. So ano naman ibig sabihin nun? Individual responses here are always combined with the responses from the people at the same rater category. So example natin dito, pwede yung peer or kaya yung mga direct reports that they have. So in order for them to preserve anonymity and to give the employee the clear picture of or his or her greatest overall strengths and weaknesses. So here, 360 feedback can also be a useful development tool for people who are not in the management role. Strictly speaking, a non-manager 360 assessment is not measuring feedback from 360 degrees since there are no direct reports. So, but the same principles still apply. So here, 360 feedback for the non-managers are useful to help people be more effective in their current roles and also to help them understand what areas they should focus on and if they want to move into the management role. So let us proceed. How is the 360 feedback useful? So first, 360 feedback is a developmental tool to help the employees recognize strengths and weaknesses and become more effective. So when done properly, the 360 is highly effective as a development tool. So the feedback process gives the people an opportunity to provide anonymous feedback to the coworker that might otherwise be uncomfortable giving. So here, feedback recipients also gain insights into how they perceived uh, feedback on them and the opportunity to adjust the behaviors and develop skills that will enable them to excel on their jobs. So next, the 360 feedback is a performance appraisal tool to measure the employee performance. Using the 360-degree feedback system or performance appraisal is a common practice, but not always a good idea because it is difficult to properly structure a 360 feedback process that creates an atmosphere of trust when you use the 360 evaluations to measure the performance. So anong ibig sabihin nun dito? So the 360 feedback focuses on the behavior at saka competencies more than the basic skills. Tsaka yung requirements and the performance objectives of the organization. So these things are most appropriately addressed by an employee and his or her manager as part of the annual review and the performance appraisal process. So it is certainly possible that can be beneficial to to incorporate this 360 feedback into a larger performance management process, but only when clear communication on how this 360 feedback will be used. So now, let us proceed naman with the advantages of this 360-degree feedback. So first, they provide better, more well-rounded, and more diverse feedback. So what does it mean? So during a traditional review, so the employee gets to hear the feedback from one person. So their direct supervisors is an example of this. But in the 360-degree review process, feedback from multiple people at saka multiple levels are also included, like the colleagues, the peers, the leadership or the management, and also the direct reports. So this also gives the employee the much broader or more diverse and in many cases nga, better and more accurate range of insights of their performance. So the second one, the 360-degree feedback helps identify developmental needs both in the individual and organizational level. So here naman, another major advantage of the 360 review is that they are incredible tool for identifying the employees' developmental needs. So the consolidation of the feedback into the 360-degree review creates the visibility to the common themes that can help the employees identify areas of focus for their growth at saka development. And next, the third, the 360-degree feedback makes managers better. So here, it is clear that the 360 review are extremely helpful for the employees. Pero they are just helpful for managers. So by giving employees the safe place to provide upward feedback to their managers, 360 review keep leaders accountable still for their management decisions and impact. At saka deliver the insights they need to better manage their teams. So there is still two process wherein the employees and also the managers are allowed to have their feedback. Third one, the 360-degree feedback makes managers better. So it is, I'm sorry, dito na pala tayo sa number 4. So employees are more trusting of 360-degree feedback. So here, some people struggle to deliver feedback face-to-face, particularly if the feedback is challenging. So this can lead employees to question the honesty of the feedback they receive. So during the traditional review process. So for example here, if a supervisor tells an employee they are doing great job during the interview, they may question whether they are actually doing the great job, or the supervisor just feels uncomfortable when they are performing the feedback and they are not expecting that kind of um, answer from their supervisors. So next we have here, finally, the disadvantages of the 360-degree feedback. First, in order to be effective, 360-degree review needs the right participants and the right method. So clearly, there are plenty of pros to the 360 reviews, but they are not without their challenges. Like any review of feedback structure, if a 360 review is not administered to the right people, it might not generate the most effective, helpful feedback. So what does it mean? So when you are deciding here, which colleagues to include in the employee's 360 review, make sure not only include colleagues with whom the employees has the close relationship or yung mga close lang nila. So their pre-existing relationship with the employees being reviewed with also prevent them from providing honest feedback about how this person could improve, because there is already a bias because they are close with each other. And next, the 360 review process can be more involved than other types of the review processes. So yes, the 360 review are effective, but there is no denying that they require lots of effort. Gathering feedback from the multiple sources can translate into the larger time investment. And more people you have sharing feedbacks, and more opportunities there are for people to feel irritated or discouraged if their feedback is not used or acted upon. So here, stakeholders also invest great deals of time in providing input into the 360-degree review. So there is also a risk that they will feel frustrated if they provide input but do not see the actions being taken in accordance to the input that they have, or in accordance to the feedback that they also give. So this would be the end of my report regarding my topic on the performance management process. So thank you po for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Now, the overall objectives of performance management is to develop the capacity of people to meet and exceed expectation and to achieve their full potentials to the benefit of themselves and the organization. So performance management provides the basis for self-development, but importantly, it is also about ensuring that the support and guidance people need to develop and improve is readily available. So performance management is a planned process of which the 5 primary elements are agreement, measurement, feedback, positive reinforcement, and dialogue. So performance management takes the form of a continuous self-renewing cycle, no? Performance and development agreement, management performance throughout the year, and performance review and assessment. So performance and development agreements form the basis for development, assessment, and feedback in the performance management process. So they define experiments or expectations in the form of the role profile, which it set out rule requirements in terms of key results areas and the competencies required for the effective performance. So the role profile provides the basis for agreeing objectives and methods of measuring performance and assessing the level of competency reached. The performance agreement incorporates any performance improvement plans that may be necessary and personal development plan. So now the last part of our presenter discussion is the 360-degree feedback, also known as multi-source assessment. It is a process in which someone's performance is assessed and feedback is given by a number of people who may include their managers, subordinates, colleagues, and customers. So assessment takes the form of ratings against various performance dimensions. So the term 360-degree feedback is sometimes used loosely to describe upward feedback where this is given by subordinates to their managers. And this is the most common approach and is more properly described as 180-degree feedback. So feedback may be presented direct to individuals or to their managers or both. Expert counseling and coaching for individual as a result for the feedback may be provided by a member of the human resource department or an outside consultant. That 360-degree feedback or variant of it was used by 30% of the respondents to the 205 reward survey. So again, 360-degree feedback process usually obtain data from questionnaires, that measure from different perspectives the behaviors of individuals against a list of competency. So as our presenter mentioned, 360-degree feedback recognize the complexity of management and the value of the input from various sources, mainly used for learning and development. So the main advantages actually of individuals get a broader perspective of how they are perceived by others than previously possible, and therefore obtain a more rounded view of their performance. The main disadvantages, of course, people do not always give frank or honest feedback, and people may be put under stress in receiving or giving a feedback. Okay, so I think that's it.